My name's Wade Goodsell. I have the privilege of being the executive director of the WMC Foundation. But today's not about me, so I'm not going to talk. I'll add a few stories about myself. Today's about you. But more importantly, maybe not where you are today, but where do you want to go? What's your heart beat for? What's your desire? What's your dream? And wherever you are today, where you are today does not control where you have to be tomorrow. So we're going to spend 20 minutes talking about a few basic principles of things that cost you nothing. Maybe you're a gifted artist. Maybe you're a gifted athlete, good with computers, good interpersonal skills, gifted presenter, great writer. Maybe you're someone that's still figuring out what you're good at. Maybe you're from a two-parent family or a single-parent family. Maybe you're from a wealthy family or a family where it's hard to make ends meet. Regardless of where you're from, your circumstances today don't have to define where you're going. I've spent a decade into my career and wanted to share a few tips of things that cost you nothing. I firmly believe there's two kinds of people in this world. There's the thermostat and the thermometer. Do you know the difference between the two? The thermometer, if you remember when you were little and you were sick, or you go to the doctor's office, or maybe in the COVID world, the thermometer simply reflects the temperature. When everyone is being negative, whether that's in your workplace, in your classroom, in your school, when everyone's being negative, it can be easy to reflect that temperature and bring negativity. It can be easy to gossip, it can be easy to complain. But the thermostat doesn't reflect the temperature. The thermostat sets the temperature, and it's a fundamental difference. When everyone is negative, the thermostat turns it towards positivity. When everyone's complaining about the problem, the thermostat drives and starts a solution. As my mother taught me years ago, Wade, don't just talk about the problem and don't complain about it if you're not willing to be part of the solution. The thermostat goes into things in life, whether that's clubs, teams, workplaces, your household, and they set the temperature. We're going to spend 20 minutes about not being a thermometer. How do you be a thermostat in everything you do in life? These are lessons and things that cost you nothing, and they're going to pay off in spades, both personally and professionally. First impression. Hi, I'm Wade. Really nice to meet you. Is that someone that you want to spend time around with? Hi, I'm Wade. Really nice to meet you. How are you today? First impression, a good handshake, a smile, and actually liking people and looking forward to meeting them. There's an old adage, those who like everyone is typically liked by everyone. First impression, firm handshake, smile, and ask someone their name and how they're doing today. Candidly, guys, this is something that I'm still growing in, being on time. Being on time and being punctual and being early to things, that costs you nothing, but it shows a value and importance on the person that you're going to be with and the time that you're spending. As an extrovert, this is not a strength of mine and an area for growth, but this is something that with intentionality, you should always be on time and probably 5 to 10 minutes early. Legendary Packers coach Vince Lombardi, since I'm a Packers shareholder, at Lambeau Field, you'll see Lombardi time. The clocks on Lambeau Field are always set 10 minutes early. Because to Coach Lombardi, 10 minutes early was on time. Playing on Lombardi time will serve you well in your life. Common courtesy. It's not always so common, is it? Please, thank you, excuse me, I'm sorry. These are words that just personally or professionally, common courtesy is important. Practice them when you're ordering at the restaurant. Practice them when you're at the grocery store. Practice them in your classroom. People notice. And maybe more importantly, if you don't have that common courtesy, if you're not good at gratitude and thank you or please or sorry, you're going to miss that. I had a college professor who taught me a great lesson in life. Some of the most powerful words you can say, and again, this is in business, but this is also in life. I was wrong, I'm sorry, and how can I make it right? Those are disarming words that when you're wrong, to apologize, admit it, own it, and figure out how you can make it right. Most people will work through it with you, and I would argue you will probably have a better relationship coming out of that than you did to coming into whatever the situation was. Dress for success. I don't know what you think about this with the tan loafers and the iron suit, but dress for success. There's an old adage. Dress for the position you want, not the one that you have. Years ago, I went in, wanted to get a job at the golf course cleaning golf carts. You know what the attire was for the golf course? Cut-off shirts and gym shorts. Goodsell, you're just cleaning golf carts and urinals. Well, when I went in to interview for the job, I wore khakis and a polo. Do you think that helped me to get the job? Always dress for success, regardless of what your financial situation is. You don't need name brands. You don't need tailored looks. Just find something that you feel good in. Find something that you're confident in. Find something that you're comfortable in. It can be from Walmart or Target, wherever. It can be secondhand. It can be from your dad's closet or your brother's hand-me-downs. Find something that you're comfortable in, and then take the time to iron it and tuck your shirt in. Dress for the position you want, not the one that you have. Grandma. My grandma was a ton of fun. I don't know if any of you have spunky grandmas like this. In the age of social media, I think this is more important than ever. Never put anything in writing. Never put anything on social media that you wouldn't want your grandmother to read in the morning on her Facebook feed or the Twitter feed, or maybe if you're old school like me, in the newspaper. Always be mindful of what you post. And when you post things, and when you say things, and when you put things in writing, imagine that your grandma's going to read it, or that person in your life that you would be mortified if she read your text thread, or if he read your text thread. In professional situations, there's some things that can get you in trouble. You know, you're going to have times where you go to birthday parties, you go to Christmas parties, social gatherings. Never be the person who embarrasses yourself. You know, don't be someone that drinks too much. Don't be someone that talks too much. Just have self-control. You never want to be the person that the day after the event, they lose a job offer. The day after the event, they have a hard conversation with their human resources team. You never want to be that person. Have self-control and make good choices. Questions. One of the things with questions, you're going to have times in life where it's important to be a good question asker. I said I'd talk a little bit about myself. I was blessed 8 years ago to marry my wonderful wife. Part of that is, again, I'm a little old school. I called my father-in-law. I asked to meet him for dinner. He knew what I wanted to talk about. I knew what I wanted to talk about. We're sitting in some booth at Chili's or Applebee's, and the only thing I wanted to ask him for was, Mr. Campbell, can I marry your daughter? Do I have your blessing to do that? Well, it's a 90-minute meal, you know, the sodas come out, the appetizer comes out, the meal, the dessert. That's all I wanted to talk about. Do you think I came in with some questions? How was your weekend at the lake? Have you been running recently? I came in prepared with questions to carry conversation. It's human nature, especially in uncomfortable situations. We all like to talk about ourselves. Be someone that comes in with questions. If you're going to a networking event, how long have you been part of the organization? How did you meet her? Oh, were you at her birthday party last year? Oh, what are you doing? Be someone that asks questions. Think through it. It's human nature. We all like to talk about ourselves. Be intentional in asking questions. Thank you notes. I'm a firm believer of this. I work for our CEO, and I kid you not, we've had times in our office where we've had 2 highly qualified candidates. We'll leave the interviews, and one of the things that we come out with is, they're both good. We would be lucky to have either. Let's wait a week and see who sends a thank you note. That is the person that we will hire. And in today's day and age, so many people send an email. I'm not saying, Dear Mr. Goodsell, thank you for the opportunity to interview. No, I'm not talking about an email. I'm talking about spend 50 cents on a stamp, spend 50 cents on the piece of paper, scribble out a thank you note. My handwriting is atrocious, but it's going to help you to stand out. It's going to help you to stand out in a world where everything is going digital, everything is going electronic. You show up the next day and hand a thank you note to the receptionist at the front desk and say, hey, could you give this to Sarah? She was kind enough to interview me yesterday. Take the time to do the little things right. A thank you note will help you to get the job, whether it's a birthday present from a parent or grandparent, whether it's an opportunity to interview or wisdom from someone that you've networked with or a job that you want. Get in the habit of doing the little things right and writing thank you notes. Character. I don't know if you know John Wooden, but if you're a sports junkie like me, as you may start to sense, legendary UCLA coach. I'll tell you what, if you want to come and play on our team and work in our office, if you're not a person with character, and the fundamental difference, as the quote indicates, reputation is merely who people think that you are. Character is who you really are. If you don't have a strong character, if you're not honest, if you're not dependable, if you're not trustworthy, I don't care how talented you are. We can't win with you. We can't work with you. If you have a fatal flaw in character, personally or professionally, I probably would bet you that you're not going to be successful. You might be for a while, but worry not about what others think about you. Worry about who you are and be concerned with your character. Work ethic. It's really that simple. Be someone that takes initiative. We had an intern in our office last summer, and he worked, and he worked, and he worked, and he worked. And you know what the reward for a job well done is in the workplace? Typically, it's more work. But when we had a need on our team, do you think we hired the intern that we've seen work hard for 3 summers? Of course we did, because we saw work ethic. Smiling. Smiling and positivity. I mean, guys, this is probably the thing that costs you the least. In a speech of things that cost you nothing, a positive attitude and a smile, it's disarming. It's our human nature. Whether it's with your handshake with the first impression, whether it's at a networking reception or a birthday party where you're asking someone questions about themselves, put a smile on your face. It costs you nothing, and you'll see others smile back. Follow up and follow through. I got my start in my career in sales, but regardless of what you're doing, you can go in and you can have the best meeting, you can be the most qualified, you can do so many things right and be so impressive, whether that's for 60 minutes or for an entire day. But when there's deliverables that come out on that, if you're not getting your homework done on time and you're not submitting that and doing what you said you would do when you said that you would do it, forget about it. I don't know if you play on teams, but I know the teams that I had the chance to play on or typically sit on the bench on, the coaches, if you weren't on time, I don't care how good you were. If you didn't do your drills at home, if you didn't do the off-season workouts, I don't care how good you are on the court. You're not playing on our team. Follow up and follow through. Be a person that's consistent and someone that's dependable. Networking. As Ron Burgundy says, it's kind of a big deal. You might be someone that says, Wade, I don't really have a network. I'm not sure where to get started. I guarantee you have a network. Whether it's with a coach, whether it's with a teacher, whether it's with a neighbor, whether it's with an uncle or aunt. Get in the habit of asking folks, so what do you do for work? Take an interest. Again, we all like to talk about ourselves. That's human nature. Start to understand where people work. Every job that I've ever had the opportunity to work at is through networking. I had an opportunity as a college student to intern for the Minnesota Twins. A lot of students would love to work in professional sports. Do you know how I had that opportunity? My brother 5 years earlier had a guest speaker come into the class. He was blown away with the guest speaker, greatly impressed, ended up becoming friends with the guest speaker, got hired for an internship. The guest speaker actually stood with me in my brother's wedding, became a great friend, and 5 years later when Brad's little brother Wade was ready to intern, they took a chance on me. Networking is a big deal. Reach out to guest speakers. Follow up with them. Be willing to hustle. Fundamentally, if you see someone, dressed in a suit like myself or dressed professionally or dressed in whatever work attire, I have news. We all like to help students. I've had a lot of people that have been really good to me and have been sounding boards and words of encouragement and references and have coached me up when I've needed it and have encouraged me when I've needed it. And I think a lot of us in the workforce, we don't believe in paying those people back. We believe in paying it forward. So where my brother helped in hooking me up with a pretty cool internship, I don't owe him anything. What I owe is to the next generation, as I have something to give, I want to pay it forward. Network and get to know other people. Ask them what they do for work. What do you like about your job? What don't you like about your job? How did you get started in it? What would you recommend for me if I was interested in that? Work it, guys. Take initiative and hustle. In terms of business and also personal, let me just say a few words about money. As you get to the point in life where you're starting jobs, maybe car payments, maybe house payments, maybe student loan debt, whatever that looks like for you, a word about money is money has no power over you. Money has no power over you when you have an open hand and you give your money away. I don't know what that is for you. I don't know whether that's supporting the school that you attended. I don't know if that's environmental causes. I know for me and my wife, we love to support things with children. We have young kids at home. We love to give to causes locally and internationally that support kids. We have a heart for kids. But when you give your money away, all of a sudden money has no grasp on you. You're not thinking, how can I make more money? How can I get a bigger house? How can I get a better car? You've broken free from that trap and you're saying, profitability is good, guys. Income is a really good thing. But when you're willing to give and give to others and give to something that your heart beats for, all of a sudden you're going to have the opportunity to enjoy the work you do, where you're not just someone that works for money. Add value. I am convinced there is no better response in an interview than, Wade, why should we hire you? Whether that was I'm 16 years old and I got my first real job at Menards, whether that's I have the opportunity to interview to work at WMC or anything in between. Why should I hire you? Well, I graduated college with a 3.5 GPA. Employers, I got news for you guys. Employers care about your skills and your work ethic. Your GPA, if you're like me and you didn't want to go on to become a doctor or a lawyer, that's not the most important thing. They don't really care about your GPA. Well, I have this great experience. Okay, that's helpful. That's a better answer. But if you look at them and say, Wade, I think you need to hire me because no one is going to add more value to your organization than I am, because I'm going to work hard, I'm going to show up on time, I'm going to be a team player, and I'm going to learn. And now all of a sudden, you're not talking about yourself and how great you are. You're talking about how you can take the skills that you have and how can you give that to the organization and serve the organization and be part of the team of that organization and invest in the culture. Then you're not just trading hours for dollars and a paycheck, but you're buying into the work of the organization. So when someone says, well, why should we give you a chance? Why should we hire you? I would encourage you, and I can't think of a better answer. If you have ideas, I'd love to hear, because no one is going to add more value to your organization than I am. I started with this. Let me briefly close with this. The thermostat and the thermometer. The thermometer just simply reflects the temperature, whether it's in your class today or whether it's in your next endeavor in the next decade. The thermostat reflects the temperature. It is easy to be a thermostat. Go along to get along. Easy to be a thermometer. But the thermostat, when everyone else is running this way, the thermostat says, no, that's not right. No, I don't think I want to be part of that. And they go that way. And when you lead and you're willing to lead and you're willing to take a risk and you've taken that initiative, I guarantee you others will follow. So in whatever you do, whether it's in your classroom today, whether it's as you think about life after high school, be the thermostat. At WMC and in our foundation, we're a statewide organization. We work in 72 counties across the state. We have 3,800 members across the state. I get to meet with a lot of executives. Whether you're in Rhineland or Racine, Monroe or Milwaukee or anywhere in between, I have traveled the state. I've met with hundreds of executives and 100-member companies. There is economic opportunity in Wisconsin. There's economic opportunity in your hometown. And there's economic opportunity, thank goodness, in this country. So my word of encouragement, guys, be mindful of where you're at today, but focus on where you're going. Hopefully this 20 minutes has been helpful for you. Things that cost you nothing. Regardless of where you are, set the trajectory of where you're going. I have confidence in you. I'm excited to see where you end up in the next decade, and certainly I would love to hear from you. Have a great day.